Hello guys, today here we are going to discuss about the principles of development of children. Our first principle is principle of continuity, second is principle of uniform pattern, third one is principle of individual differences, and fourth one is principle of integration, fifth one is principle of interrelation, then principle of maturation and learning, principle of joint product of heredity and environment, then principle of total development, principle of development direction, principle of general to specific response, principle of cumulation and recapitulation, then principle of productivity, principle of outer control of inner control, outer control to inner control. Then we will discuss some question. So first of all, what is development? The process of development is very wide and complex and continuous, thus some principles need to be understood. So our first principle is principle of continuity of change. Development follows continuity. It goes from womb to tomb and never ceases. An individual starting his life from a tiny cell develops his body, mind, and other aspects of his personality through a continuous stream of development in these various dimensions. The major changes include changes in size and proportions, and acquisition of new mental, motor, and behavioral skills. Principle of proceeding from general to specific. Individual exhibits general response and learn to show specific and goal directed responses afterwards. For example, when a newborn baby cries, he uses his whole body. Then our third principle is principle of individual differences. Interaction between heredity and environment influences leads to individual differences in the developmental pattern. Then these differences are caused by the genes one inherits and environmental conditions like food, medical facilities, psychological conditions, and learning opportunities. Even twin children have differences. Our fourth principle is principle of uniform pattern and sequence. Principle of development has uniformity and few individual differences, but uniformity is in functions like development of language in children. The physical development is also in a uniform manner. This development starts from head, thus the milk teeth falls first. Thus the development of a similar species have a definite uniformity. At embryo stage, firstly head develops, then lower portion of the body. Similarly, firstly spinal cord develops, then heart and chest. Principle of direction. Each child may have different rate of development. However, the development of all human beings follows a similar pattern, similar sequence or direction. Sequential pattern of development can be seen in two directions: cephalocaudal sequence and a proximodistal sequence. Then we will discuss about the cephalocaudal sequence. Means that development spreads over the body from head to foot. That is, individual begins to grow from head regions to downwards. Principle. Then proximal distal sequence. What is proximal distal sequence? Development proceeds from central part of the body towards peripheries. Sorry. In this sequence, the spinal cord of the individual develops first and then outwards. For example, babies cut their front teeth before they cut their inside ones. Principle of integration. We will discuss principle of integration again. Principle of integration said, where it is true that development proceeds from general to specific or from whole to parts, it is also seen that specific response or part movements are combined in the later process of learning or development. It is integration of whole and its part as well as the specific and general responses that make a child develop satisfactorily in the various dimensions of his growth and development. Principle of interrelation. The growth and development in various dimensions like physical, mental, and social, etc., are interrelated and interdependent. Each area of development is dependent on other and influences the other developments. That is why the child having poor physical development tend to regress in emotional, social, and intellectual development. Principle of maturation and learning. In the process of growth and development, maturation and learning plays an important role. For example, if a child is keen to learn something and lacks maturity, then he will not be able to learn it. You have already learned that maturation is unfolding of characteristics potentially present in individual. For example, creeping, crawling, walking comes with maturation. These characteristics come from individual genetics. Principle of joint product of heredity and environment. Child growth and development is the joint product of heredity and environment. Various examples have proved this fact that the effect of both these cannot be separated. Heredity is foundation of the personality of a child. Personality of a total development. The physical development in human beings as per time and side by side, the different aspects of the human personality also develops like social, physical, emotional, mental, etc. All these aspects are dependent on each other and affect each other. Thus, a teacher should take care all aspects of the child. Principle of spiral versus linear development. The child does not proceed straight on the path of development with a constant or steady pace. He makes advancement during a particular period but takes rest in the next or the following period to consolidate his development. In advance further, therefore, he turns back and makes forward again like a spiral. Principle of significance of early development. Early childhood experiences have more impact on the development of a child. Examples include nutritional, emotional, social, and cultural experiences. Development involves what we do. Development involves change. Development follows a fixed pattern and sequence. Development proceeds from general to specific. Development is correlated. Development is predictable. Development occurs at different rate for different parts of the body. Development proceeds stage by stage. So early development is more important than later development. Development is continuous. There are individual differences in development. Development is the product of maturation and learning. So our question is, which of the following is a principle of development? It is a discontinuous process. No. All processes of development are not interconnected. No. Development is always linear. No. It is not proceed at the same pace for all. Yes. So development is a never ending process. This idea is associated with the principle of integration, principle of interaction, principle of interrelation, principle of continuity. Obviously, principle of continuity. The development that proceeds from the center of to the periphery is called cephalocaudal development, proximal distal development, interrelation or integrative. So answer is proximal distal development. Development is directional. What do you mean? There is a emergence of a new skill or behavior. Development is typically proceeds from simple to complex. All important development milestones were achieved before adulthood. Development continues till death. So its meaning is development is typically proceeds from simple to complex. So another question is, which one is not true about principle of development? Development is continuous. Yes. Development is interrelated. Yes. Development is spiral. Yes. Development is reversible in nature. No. Development is is not reversible, it is irreversible in nature. So answer is D. Thank you for watching my video.